Hello, and let's start with the next topic, lipids. So lipids are one of the large macromolecules. They are hydrophobic in nature. They are a class of large biological molecule and they are not true polymers, just like carbohydrates, proteins. They are not true polymers because they don't join to their monomers directly. So one of the lipids is fat. They are made from two components, glycerol backbone and fatty acid molecule. So this is a glycerol backbone. Glycerol backbone is made up of CH2OH, CHOH and CH2OH group, whereas a fatty acid molecule contains a hydroxyl. See, I have given a definition also. So they basically have carboxylic acid group with a hydrocarbon tail. Right, so the hydrocarbon tail means they have a carbon and a hydrogen molecule. So this hydrocarbon tail actually makes them hydrophobic, whereas carboxylic acid, being a functional group, it's water soluble. It's soluble in water, but the hydrocarbon tail influences and makes the fatty acid molecule hydrophobic. So this is a glycerol backbone combining with fatty acid molecule with the help of dehydration reaction. When one fatty acid molecule combines with the glycerol, so one H removes from here and one OH removes from here, and it becomes a monoacyl glycerol. See, this is a backbone and this is a glycerol backbone. To this glycerol backbone, one fatty acid chain is being attached. So acyl means fatty acid. And these fatty acids, they range from 4 to 36 carbons. So carbon starts from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, this way. We can have 36 carbon for fatty acids. So since we know that the valency of carbon is 4, and I'll take that topic also in my coming videos, it can form 4 bonds. That's why we have a H2O group here. Now this monoacyl glycerol, when it combines with another fatty acid molecule, it forms a diacyl glycerol. Similarly, when it combines with another fatty acid, it forms a triacyl glycerol, and that is how a triacyl glycerol molecule is formed. They are also called triglycerides. See, it has a glycerol backbone, CH2O, CHO, CH2O, H, all the H have been removed. Similarly, OH has been removed from the carboxylic acid group. Right, 3 fatty acid chains attached to a glycerol molecule, and from there only name comes triacyl glycerol. Now fatty acids, they can vary in length as we have seen, and they can vary in number and location of double bonds also. So on the basis of double bonds, we have classified fatty acids as saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids, because they don't have any double bond in their structure, so they have the maximum number of hydrogen atoms possible and they have no double bond. Whereas unsaturated fatty acids, they have one or more double bonds. See, you can see here the double bonds, it can be one or more. And this is a mono unsaturated fatty acid with one double bond, whereas this is a polyunsaturated fatty acid. Polyunsaturated fatty acid means a fatty acid molecule which has more than one double bond, so it's called polyunsaturated. So this is the short form MUFA and PUFA. This you must have heard in various oil ads where they say, this oil is rich in MUFA and PUFA, so that means it has double bonds in it. Now what this property, this double bond, due to presence of this double bond, what happens? The molecule, it has a lot of space in it now, right? So due to this space, it becomes liquid. So it remains liquid during room temperature also. Whereas in case of these saturated fatty acids, they don't have any double bonds, so they don't have any space in their structure. Since they don't have any space in their structure, so they tend to become solid during in like room temperature. So now when they are solid during room temperature, what happens? They have a tendency to accumulate in the blood vessels during the blood flow. They can obstruct the blood flow since they can become solid at room temperature. But because these fatty acids, poly and mono unsaturated fatty acids, they remain liquid at room temperature, so they do not accumulate and they do not obstruct the blood flow. So in all naturally occurring unsaturated fatty acids, double bonds, they always exist in cis configuration. See, this is the cis configuration, and in the cis configuration only, double bonds, they have space and they remain liquid. On the other hand, there is one more form, however, it's an artificial form usually. It's called trans fatty acids, and you must have heard that trans fat is not good. You must have seen, and during, like, in various food packets also they say no trans fat or less than 1% trans fat. That's because trans fat is not good for us. See the structure of trans fat. Although it has a double bond, but still it has a tendency to accumulate in the body. It can obstruct the blood flow. It can cause a lot of cardiovascular diseases. And trans fatty acids, they are produced by they can also be produced by fermentation of the rumen of dairy animals and are obtained from dairy products and meat. They are also produced during hydrogenation of fish or vegetable oils. And diets high in trans fatty acids, they are correlated with increased blood levels of LDL, that is bad cholesterol, and decreased HDL, that is called good cholesterol. So this is the structure of a triacylglycerol we just discussed. So they are fatty acid esters of glycerol. The simplest lipids constructed from fatty acids are triacylglycerols. This is how the structure looks like. They can also contain double bond in their structure. They can contain one double bond, they can contain no double bond, or more than one double bond. So triacylglycerols are stored in specialized cells called adipocytes, and there are two significant advantages of triacylglycerols. So usually triacylglycerols, they are called as storage fat. They can be stored. So because the carbon atoms of fatty acids are more reduced than those of sugars, so oxidation of triacylglycerol yields more than twice as much energy as the oxidation of carbohydrates. So because we are storing fat so that we can use it during emergency, so that's why about this. Now the last point, triacylglycerols are hydrophobic and therefore unhydrated. The organism that carries fat as fuel does not have to carry the extra weight of water of hydration that is associated with stored polysaccharides, because fatty acid molecules, they are hydrophobic, they do not dissolve in water, so they do not carry any water molecule with it, whereas stored polysaccharide molecules, they being water solubles, they carry extra water with them. So that's all about the fat for today. Thanks.